I'm going to be talking about Google AdWords today. You can have the best funnel in the world, but if you don't have traffic to feed that funnel, then it's a complete waste of time. So I'm going to talk about search engine traffic, and whenever we talk about search engine traffic, we're either talking about search engine optimization, or organic listings, or pay-per-click listings. So can I just get an idea of who in the room has familiarity with either search engine optimization or PPC, pay-per-click? Okay, great. So are we very familiar with these two? I know we've got a couple of marketing consultants in the room and some very good established business people. Are you going to say something? No? Okay, so I'm going to focus on paid advertising in particular. I decided to ditch the PowerPoint. I had everything all nicely laid out, and I got some corruption. Been trying to get it sorted out, but who needs PowerPoint, right? You're probably bored. You can look at me instead. So if we're talking about search engine optimization, we're talking about paid advertising, then there's a few fundamental differences to remind ourselves of, and I'm going to use those differences to explain why I'm going to focus on the paid side of traffic. So, who would like to tell me what the difference is between search engine optimization and pay-per-click marketing? Anyone want to offer that? Yep.
Mine would be a really basic term, but pay-per-click is when whenever somebody clicks on your ad, that is the time that you pay for. That's when you pay for the client that comes through to you. And SEO, search engine optimization, is looking at the rankings of how, depending on keyword, depending on organic search, all the different algorithms that Google uses, and how, through content marketing, through links, how you can bring your website up the rankings on Google and be found better.
Absolutely, yeah, that makes sense pretty much to most people. Yeah. So if you picture a Google results page, Adrian.
How the marketers are thinking. Let's say that, I'm speaking from the, can I stay there, please? Let's say that we have a website where we sell a product. With pay-per-click marketing, we can direct traffic immediately when we start the campaign, and if we start being profitable, like for example, we invest $10 or £10 in a Google AdWords campaign, does it make sense? We generate, let's say 2 sales of £27, we earn £20, meaning that we invest £10, we get back £20. So we double the investment. So we can do that immediately. With search engine optimization, with free traffic, it takes a lot of time until we see such results. And after that, we scale. Because we need to think as entrepreneurs. An entrepreneur said, I will invest this, I will get that. So it can be done, how fast? Instantly. Because we start the campaign, we see traffic, and we can have buyers immediately. If the page is optimized, if it converts, so we can have a business producing money immediately. Sorry for interrupting.
No, that's pretty good. So, yeah, there's a few fundamental differences, and I just wanted to matrix together. I was rubbish at art, so that's the pre-qualified. So, let's say SEO, PPC. I'm doing it this way around so you don't see the bald patch at the back of my head, do I? Okay. So, search engine optimization, as Dee had said, takes a lot of time and effort, It involves making sure you've got the right content on your website visible to your target audience. It also means that you need to have the right coding behind the scenes in place as well. So you need to have what are called the right tags, headline tags, title tags, keyword tags to a lesser extent now, and so on. So there's a lot more involved with the code and then the visible content. And then it's about building as many links as possible, or as many references from other websites to your website. Because every link to your website is essentially seen as a vote of confidence as far as Google is concerned. So you want to build as many links as possible by getting out valuable content, called different things like link bait and so on, really just to get traffic, get links and get visibility for your website. So, it's about link building. Okay. Pay-per-click is similar in some ways, but it's really about making sure that you are very, very clear on what your keywords are to start with. So I'm probably going to be jumping around a little bit in this presentation, and if you've got questions at any time, feel free to ask, because I've got lots of knowledge to share. I'll just hit you with it. But PPC, it's immediate. So literally, if I set up a Google AdWords campaign today, this afternoon, literally I could have my ads at the top of the page the same afternoon. It's that instant. I do hear a lot of challenges that people have had with Google AdWords over time. And well, actually, how many people have used PPC or Google AdWords in particular in the room? Okay. Keep your hands up if you've used it profitably and happily. Okay, so a few hands have dropped there. So what sort of challenges have you had? Just to get an idea.
So I can pay per click only if it brings a sale. I would. They charged me £400 and I had no sale. I think it's very poor, so I won't sign up again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Plus they charge my credit card. They put it to add your credit card and keep charging. Forgot about it. Forgot to stop the campaign, and they charged continuously, and still no sale.
Okay. What do you do? What's your website or business?
Skincare. I manufacture skincare.
Okay. All right. Okay. What other challenges have we had? Ben?
I think, using PPC to drive traffic to your website or offer or whatever it is, that might work. Yeah, it can get a bit expensive, might not be profitable depending on how you're doing it. But I think the challenge is more at the back end of it, making sure that your landing page actually converts well enough to bother paying to drive traffic there in the first place.
Fair enough.
Yeah. There are phrases that I'll literally hear every single week. I've been doing, just to give you a little bit of background, I have been doing Google AdWords for almost 11 years. And I started off, not a lot of people know this actually, I started off building websites. I worked for an investment bank, and I worked in program management. And after a very good time there and a very successful team I worked with, the position was going to be made redundant. So I had 6 months to find another job within the bank, or not, or take the money and run. And I kind of kicked around for 6 months, and wasn't anything else that I really wanted to do, or was really excited about doing. Certainly not for 14 hours a day. So I thought, well, let's see how good I really am. Take the money and see what I could do with it. So went through a whole process of reevaluation and looked at what I was good at, what I would get paid for doing, and where my skills and talents were, both professionally and personally. Did all that kind of self-evaluation. And I thought, okay, people need websites. I know, I'm going to start a website building company. And I had this spectacular business model where what I would do is I would build websites for companies, free, And if they already had a website, I would build a sister website for them, okay? Because then it would be really clear exactly how much business they've got as a result of my efforts. And I'd live the life of Riley, and I would make a fortune because of all the commission and all the products and so on that I sold through these sites. And the problem that I discovered was that I'd build all these websites, I'd spend a lot of time on them, I'd work on them through day, through night, the weekdays roll into weekends, and I'd be in my little cave building these websites. But then no one could find them. No one could find these beautiful websites I spent hours and hours creating. And those are some tough times for me. It's big learnings, because I call those lean years, and I didn't really enjoy that, let's say. It was tough times. So that's when I decided, okay, well, I need to learn how to market these websites. I need to learn about search engine optimization. I need to learn about PPC and Google AdWords and all these things. And Google came out with the Google certification in the UK in 2004. And I was probably the first person to actually do those exams and get certified in the UK. And started to get some results, got a few clients, I did some local business networking, and a few people took a chance with me, and I got some good results, and then I got some more referrals, and it kind of built from there. Then the penny dropped. I thought, I don't need to be building websites. There's always people that can do them better, faster, and cheaper than me. Why don't I just focus on the marketing, because I've got some expertise there and I enjoy that, and that's where my skill sets were. So that's what I did. I moved completely into marketing of websites, and I thought, well, let's just take this to another level, let's build on that, and let's set myself up as a digital consultant and kind of do that. So that's, I guess, a short version of what's happened to me to bring me to this point, standing in front of you. Since then, I've been featured in case studies with Google, been interviewed at Google TV. I've worked with pretty much every sector, certainly every major sector that exists. And I've worked with local businesses, one-man bands. I've worked with people that just have e-commerce shops online and don't have any physical presence. I've worked with people that have bricks and mortar set up, both the online and the offline presence as well. Service versus product. So I've really seen a lot and got a lot of experience, based on who I've been exposed to and who I've worked with over time. So I don't know how I got onto that subject, but I think I just took a little tangent, didn't I, to tell you a little bit about myself. So, I think I was explaining why we were doing paid advertising, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so coming back to this. We've got search engine optimization, we've got PPC. If we imagine the results page of Google, slightly like that, what you'll see is sometimes 2 or sometimes 3 ads at the top in yellow background, right? So those are the top 2 or 3 Google ads. And then on the right hand side, then you'll see 3, 4, 5, position 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. So those are all paid ads. Those are ads which have been put together by advertisers. And behind each of those ads, there'll literally be a whole campaign which has been put together. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, let's quickly put in a couple other things here. Search engine optimization, literally it can take months. It can happen very, very quickly, but that's not normal. So link building, and there's time involved. With search engine optimization, you also have the knowledge that you don't have to pay when someone clicks on your entry in the search results. Okay. With pay-per-click, obviously, you pay every time someone clicks on your ad. There's slightly different ways of setting up your ad so that you can pay per 1,000 impressions. That's called the CPM model, and that's more if you are looking at branding as an objective. So if you want to get as much visibility as possible, right, as Anna's been talking about, the number of touches that you have in the buying cycle and sales process, then what you would want to do is, first step, maximize your visibility. Yeah.
How do you avoid hostile PPC? I.e. somebody who's just clicking and they've really got no intention of getting what you're interested in, but it basically costs you and they're just doing it to annoy you.
Okay, everyone heard that? So that's called click fraud, and it used to be really, really rife, and now Google have inbuilt into the system something that recognises the IP address now. So if there are too many clicks, too many suspicious clicks coming from not only the same IP address but a cluster of IP addresses, then Google will not charge for those subsequent clicks. Some industries, that's just cutthroat. You know, some of my clients had their competitors have whole departments of people just sit there. Just sitting there. Outsourced as well. You'd be surprised. But yeah, so I hope that answers the question. Okay.
So can you track that? Or
Can you track that?
Yeah, are you depending on Google's good nature that they're not going to charge you?
Actually, in today's world, you can see all of that really transparently, because you have reports now that you have access to that actually tell you how many clicks have been classified as suspect, and you've also got data on where those were and so on, so you can see that. I think you can still get additional tools which are separate third party to Google.
Okay.
That used to be quite a flourishing business, but now Google have inbuilt it to an extent, and they're being more transparent. So people are kind of saying, okay, this is more quantifiable now. Yeah. So I'll quickly put a few more bullet points here. Well, actually, let's get some participation. Differences between SEO and PPC. Ivan.
PPC gets you targeted traffic.
Targeted traffic, that's the key word we're looking for. Good. Okay, what else? Differences, just...
It's an advert.
I'm sorry?
It's an advert.
It's an advert, yeah, that's true. Okay, so... What else?
It can enhance your positioning in what's it, the business, there's a word for it, but like the business landscape for your niche. So it can, like, depending on the offer, depending on like the way that you structure the keyword, it can enhance your position.
Okay, so you mean visibility? Can increase your visibility? Can
Yeah,
increase your
visibility.
credibility?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. SEO can do that too, no?
Yeah, SEO can. I mean, SEO does do that, but I think probably can get like as fast results with pay-per-click.
Yeah, okay, so that's immediately up.
Possibly more efficient.
Okay. One of the beauties of PPC is that it's really, really quantifiable. Literally, you can choose 5 keywords that you want to trigger your ads, and you can just focus purely on those 5 keywords. You set your daily budget, so you've got very, very tight control, and literally using analytics, you can see who's clicked on your ad, where they're based, how long they spent on your site, what the bounce rate is, whether they hit your site and then disappeared. All of that is totally at your disposal. It's all very, very transparent now. So, what else can we say about PPC in terms of
I suppose it's safer. Like, you know, with SEO, you could go down the wrong sort of road, some sort of black hat type stuff, accidentally have your website up to page 12 of Google, destroying your business. Pay per click, I mean, they'll sort of approve your ads and say whether or not that approval word's allowed, approve your budget. I mean, the worst thing that happens is spend too much.
Yeah, so obviously you've got some experience with this, so it's going to make a lot more sense to you than perhaps other people. So what I'll say, to summarise that, is that SEO is a little bit more vague. Is that fair, Ben?
Yeah.
And with PPC it's a little more specific. When we talk about search engine optimization, broadly speaking, search engine optimization tactics will either fall into what's called white hat or black hat territory. White hat territory are techniques that are known and approved and part of best practices to optimize your website. Black hat techniques are not, and they will tend to be a bit illegal, and those will get your site banned, and those will incur penalties from Google. In the middle of that, you've got something called grey hat, which is, those are techniques which will either become black hat or they'll either become white hat. And essentially all it means is that they're techniques that are newer and perhaps Google's not aware of them just yet. Is that right, Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So a little bit more vague, relies on link building, takes time, but you don't get charged every time someone clicks on your listing. The pay-per-click, there will be ads, tend to be immediate and very, very targeted traffic. Something else with PPC is geography.